Okay, today we'll discuss about screen flows, harness. So far, whatever the flows we discussed, those flows are called standard flows. So when you use a step, when you add a step in the guest designer internally, a flow will be created. All those flows are standard flows. Generally, standard flows will be useful. If you want to route it, assignment shift to somebody, you can route it. But if you want to move back and forth, so if you want to come back again, and if you want to modify something, you cannot do there in the standard flows. So basically, in that case, if you want to capture the information from the user in multiple screens, and if you want to move back and forth, then you can go for screen flows. Now we'll see what is the difference. How can we know whether it's a screen flow or standard flow? We have a by using some key we'll decide that. Let's open the. But the main difference between the standard flows and the screen flows here is we cannot create screen flows from the case designer. That is one thing. But once we create, we can refer it as a step. That means we cannot create it from the case designer, but once we create it manually, but we can refer it as a step. Reverse is possible. Still loading, okay. And one more difference is we cannot route. We cannot route assignments in the screen flows. Let's say you are doing multiple, you are, let's say you want to file, there is a tax filing is there. So with the tax filing, we will be entering we will be entering multiple types of information, like personal information, salary information, banks information, something like that. But all this information will be provided by single user. So when the actor is one, where there is a single actor and who is performing all these screens, then only you can go for screen flows. So in that case, there is no need of routing, because the actor by default we are saying that in the definition itself we need to go for screen flows only when there is a single actor. When there is a single actor, there is no need of assign, there is no need of routing here. That is why we cannot configure routing and assignments for the screen flows. Because there is no routing concept, assignments itself act as a flow action. The standard flow, generally what we will do, assignment shape will be there, and whatever the character is coming out from the assignment shape is a flow action, because there in the assignment shape we configure the routing configurations, but here there is no routing at all. There is no routing at all. That is why assignment shape itself is acting as a flow action. So whatever the character is coming out from the assignment shape is just like a connector, normal connector only.
Oh, Subhash, I have a question.
Yeah.
But in the academy, they are telling screen flows, as you said, routing is not possible at assignment level.
Yes.
But they said so we can do the routing at starting shape of the screen flow.
That's what. But assignment shape you cannot do, right? So you can do
Yeah.
because you have four screens. As four screens, you can, if you want route, you can do routing in the starting shape.
Mm.
You cannot assign multiple screens to multiple assignments to. I mean, we have four assignments. You cannot assign. You cannot configure each assignment to different person.
Yeah, that is true.
That's what. So in the standard flow, you can do that. So each assignment shape you can configure, you can assign it to different person. Whereas in the screen flows you cannot assign each assignment to the different persons, because the by definition you are saying is for single person only. So if you want to route it to single person, you can route it on the start shape.
Okay. And one more question, but in the real time, I think the usage of screen flows may be high. Am I right?
Correct. It's not like my both will be
But it depends
sequentially.
upon requirement.
Hmm. So let me
Because
open.
if we have to capture the data from multiple streams, then definitely we have to go with the
Screen
stream flows
flow.
only, right?
Correct.
Is there any way to mimic to generate the behavior which is similar to stream flow without coming to the stream flow? What is
I
that?
mean, do that, but that is not.
Uh,
I mean, recommended approach. So we can use tickets and we can jump back, but that is not good way.
what is that ticket?
Yeah, ticket concept that is anyway deprecated. We
But
cannot do.
yeah, but ticket concept generally when there is a business exception, so which is what is that? Uh,
Hmm.
they
So
they might have used it instead of alternate cases, right?
correct. So but here, if you are saying going back and forth, you can achieve that using tickets only. You can jump
Uh,
back here.
mm,
That's what I'm saying. It's not recommended approach.
okay, and okay, maybe one more question, Subhash, about this is not related to the stream flow context, but regarding the ticket flow.
Mm-hmm.
Ticket flow, can we hold the parent case unless all subcases processes are completed,
With the
similar to
ticket, yeah.
white shape?
Yeah, we can use. So we have some tickets, out of the box tickets are there, all covered resolved. We can use that.
All cover result. Okay, got it.
Um, so here, if you see, this is the standard flow, but when you open the flow diagram flow, we cannot visualize we cannot say whether it's a screen flow or a standard flow. So
Hmm.
how can we guess this? You can go to design tab, and here you can see this category. So this category will decide, this category will say whether it is a standard flow or a screen flow. That is one way. Like if it is a standard flow, you can get a flow standard. If it is a screen flow, you will get a screen flow here. And one more thing is, as I said, here in the standard flow, assignment shape will act as a assignment shape, and flow action, this is the connector here. But in the screen flows, this routing is not available in the assignment shape. So assignment shape itself acts as a flow action. When you open assignment shape in the screen flows, you will actually see the flow action configuration. Okay. Now let's see. So here in this case, both customer information and the product information will be done by single person only. So here I don't need two steps separately here, because actor is one only here. I mean, both customer information other product information will be done by CSR only. So in this case, I can go for screen flows. So let's see how can we do that. Let's go to climb. But creation is simple. We need to do manually, and then process flow. I'm just saying capture information. So if I want to create the screen flows, if you directly give the name and you click create and open, by default only standard flows will be created. So if you want to create screen flows, just click on this additional configuration options, then select the standard template for screen flows. Standard template for screen flows. Then
what about another option?
That is for a business process BPM product notation. Internally Pega also creates some things, right? So for that reason they will use that. For our applications we don't use.
Generally Pega is not supporting BPMN, right?
To support, I guess.
Not
Otherwise
supporting, right?
I think BPM it will support. BPM MN is just like a notation.
Yeah, that's I think those notations are not supporting by Pega fully. So which is similar to IBM BPM and Vestal, SAP BPM and Oracle.
Okay.
This is not comply. I read the statement from Academy also.
So this is how it will come. Now you can see on the in the connector nothing is there. So if you open this assignment shape, actually it will open the flow action configurations. This is a flow action. And if you go to design tab and if you see this is a screen flow. Okay. Now let me add the two screens. So I already have anyway flow actions. I will use existing flow actions only. Collect customer information. Customer info. This is first screen. The second screen I want to add. This is second screen. These are our product info. Once you create like this, you can refer it in the case designer. You can remove this. Click down arrow, select capture information. In the screen flows, we have three types of screen flows basically. So look and feel wise it's just like three types, but functionality wise everything is same. Screen flow types is tabbed screen flow. Here everything will be seen in the tab format. Tree navigation, here we will see everything in the tree structure. And perform screen flow. So internally, technically speaking, these are the harnesses. So but in general we call them as a screen flow types because the look and feel is changing. We use this when you change the harness. So by default we will get a tabbed screen flow. If you want to configure the type of the screen flow, you can go to start shape. On the start shape you can configure the harness. So by default it's a tabbed screen flow. Let's see how it is, then we will go for other harnesses.
No, it's the standard harness.
Yes, that is out of the box harness only. Everything is out of the box. Just run it. When you run this, you will get a different look and feel for the first step. So this is how we will get. So you can see bubbles are coming. This is a tab structure, and you can see John is. You can enter the data and go next, and come back. You can also do back button is there. You can come back, or else you can also use these bubbles. So by default, bubbles also will act as a navigation buttons, and you can also use navigation buttons as well. And again here, sometimes what happens is there may be requirement, like there may be 5 to 6 steps are there. when there is a 5 to 6 steps, basically here we have 1 or 2 steps, you cannot visualize that. We have 5 steps. I can jump from first step to 5th step directly. First steps to 5th step, or first step to second 8th step directly without entering the in between information. So I mean, if there is no dependency between the screens, you can accept that one. But sometimes what happens is we need some information in second screen, we need second screen information in third screen information fourth screen. So in those cases, we should not allow the user to jump directly in the forward direction. So, but in the reverse direction, once the information is provided, you can jump back anywhere. So once you are in the 8th stage, let's say, you can directly jump to first stage because already you provided information. So in the backward direction, you can jump to any step, but if in the forward direction, if you want to stop the user not to jump, so you need to do this configuration. Go to this assignment shape and click only going back. So when you use only going back, that indicates that it supports only going back. Now that the link will be disabled. Let me create one more case. Now you can see I cannot jump. By using this one I cannot jump. So definitely I should go for sequential execution only. Okay, this is how you can restrict the user to follow the sequential execution during forward direction, but in the reverse direction you can jump back to anywhere. Okay, and here this is the tabbed navigation. So if you go for other harnesses,
Subhash, 1 minute. So okay. in the assignment, one more option is the enable link with breadcrumb trail, some more option, right? Can you select it? Can you unselect that option? What will happen? Just I want to check it.
If you unselect it, the bubbles are won't shown.
Completely disabled or is completely invisible?
Invisible. You can see second step is not coming.
Okay. Fine. What about the third option? What about the third option is there, right? Perform post-processing something.
That is directly post-processing and navigating back. I mean, we have in the flow action we have post-processing, right? So even when you click back, if you want to perform post-processing, you can check that one.
Got it.
Now, I mean, if you want to change the look and feel, then go for tree navigation. 7. Not again. You will get a different look and feel. The tree structure will come like something like this. So this is called tree navigation screen flow. And if you go for one more harness, if you change it to functionality wise, there won't be any change, only look and feel will change. Perform screen flow. It won't be good, but let's see. When I use perform screen flow, this is how it looks like. But it won't, I mean the functionality wise there won't be any change, everything is same. But let's say if the client is not working, I mean he need back and forth functionality, but in the normal, however the case looks, in the same way you want to see everything. So when you run the case, let's say if you go to next step, after completing this, so this is the normal, normal standard case. So we can see some heading is there, you can see cases here, and you can see here. This is how generally the case will appear. And he needs the back and forth functionality, but the look and feel wise, he needs this look and feel. So in that case, you can go for, you can change the harness to perform. That is the out of the box harnesses on perform harnesses. They just like that. Now you will get a look and feel of standard flow, and then but the back and forth functionality is enabled for the first step. Now let me run it. Now you can see you are getting standard flow look and feel, and you can also now run. You can see you can move back and forth again. You can come back again, and you can do. This is how you can do the things. So any doubts here? The screen flow.
No, Subhash.
Okay. Now coming to harnesses. So we are saying everything is a harness. Screen flow is a harness, this perform is a harness, everything is a harness. So what exactly is a harness? A harness is nothing but how do you want to present the UI is a harness. How do you want to present the UI is the harness. How do you want to present the UI is a harness? That means that, so what is there on the top? So top is header, left side is this one, right side is this one, in between case data, bottom is Pegapulse. So everything is configured in the harness rule. So everything is configured in the harness rule. So the look and feel wise harness is same as the section rule only. So however, whatever the rules are there, whatever the configurations are there in the section, the same things will be there in the harness, except a couple of things. So now let's open how can we know what harness we are using here. So you can use live UI to identify the harness, what harness we are using. So this is a Visual Studio harness, but for our work. Or else you can mouse over here and somewhere in the bottom you can say this is the harness for us. This is the harness for the case. So we are using perform harness. You can open this. This is the standard harness. So we have 4 standard harnesses. For the case we will use, system will automatically configure this one. One is new harness, and then perform harness, review harness, confirm harness. So this is what generally Pega say. These are the standard harnesses Pega provides. So new harness will be displayed when you create a case. When you create a case, generally new harness will be executed and then it will be shown. But here it's not showing because we skipped the new harness in the starting process. We will see that one. If you want to see, we can see that. So perform harness, while performing action on the case, we will use perform harness. If you want to display everything in read only, want to display a review mode, you can go for review harness, confirm. So this is the, if you want to display confirmation messages, you can use confirm harness. Now if you can see different harnesses in different ways. Now this is a because we are performing some action, so that is why this is a perform harness. Now let me go to next screen. When I go to next screen, so this here I am not performing anything. If you see here, this is just like displaying the data. I am getting some messages. This is called confirm harness. So if you open the again live UI, now you can see confirm harness here. You can see harness confirm. Because when you are not performing any action, system automatically uses the confirm harness to display the data. Now when you are performing action again, so when I am clicking this again, I am performing some action. Again this is a perform harness. When you are doing some action, that is a perform harness. When you are doing something, when you are displaying something with a message, that is a confirm harness. Here review harness is not there in this use case, and then the new harness we cannot see that because we manually skipping that. So let's open, if you want to see the new harness, let me open the corresponding case type rule and open the starting process. And in the design tab, process tab, you can see skip create harness. So you can uncheck this. Now you can see new harness as well. So now if you run the case, this is the new harness. You will see this is the new harness. So you can give the claim information, urgency, effort days, participants. So for creating a case, we need at least one operator required. So by default it is staying. Operator is already coming, work part is already coming, though that is why it's not showing the new harness. So from here you can create the, once you click the create button, the case will be created. But we are skipping that because of that one, system is not displaying the new harness.
No, which fields are coming if you select the new harness? Which fields are rendering?
That is out of the box screens only. We are not creating that one, right? Let me show you. This is the thing. See what is the client case name, what is the participant, who is the participant. These are the mandatory information.
Oh, these are the out of box functionalities.
Everything is out of the box only. All these harnesses are the standard harnesses only. We are not creating these things.
Okay.
So now if you want to customize it, most of the times we don't create new harnesses, but still you can also create it. If you want to create new harness, just create, go to application. Let's say I want to create my own harness for this product claim. I want to display my own harness. So in that case, what you can do? So when you run the case, you can see on the top you can see something is there. On the bottom you can see something is there. So let me open the corresponding harness once again. So this is the out of the box perform harness. So if you see the harness, existing harnesses, it's not actually creating anything, it's not extra. It's just embedding the sections. We are creating separate sections for each component. For header one component, you can see PY case header one section. So for errors one section, for case body is one section, for Pega pulse you can do one more section. So we create separate sections for each component, whatever you see on the UI, and then we will categorize, we will display them in a order in which you want to display, in which order you want to display. That is, we call it as a harness just for presenting the UI. So how do we have different subsets of sections are there. However, you are keeping that in the same way, section will come. So most of the times we will do customization of the perform harness. If you want to do some customization, let's say I don't need these tools for my requirement. I don't need these tools for my requirement. So what you can do, you can open the live UI, you can just click on that where it is. It will be in the PY case tools. So PY case is also out of the box. So if you want to see one by one, this is the main section. Open the main section. You can see this is a PY case container, just like a name which will combine all the sections. You can see it's a container, and then in the container you can see PY case header. So this is the header you can see on the top. This is the header. Whatever you can see in the top, this is a header with the name, ID, and these case stages. Everything is that is configured in the header. So if you want to do something else on the header, if you want to do some more button here, on the header you want to display some more button. What you can do, you can customize this header only. If you want to display some more button here, you have some other requirement to display some more button, you can add your custom button in this PY case header. And this is messages. I mean, we are getting some messages sometimes. That is configured here. So below the case header, that is why you are getting the message there. So message case body. So whatever you can see, this is the case body. Whatever things you are performing, that is a case, wherever the case data is, this is case body. So this assignment, information, audit, so everything is a case body. So let's open that again. You can see this is a case body. In the case body again you can see some left side part is there, right side part is there. This is the case body, this is the left side part, this is the right side part. That is what you can see here. This is the left side, this is the right side. Again if you open the right side, this is a tools. This is a PY case assets. In the PY case assets again you can see different things are there. One is case assignments, on left side you can see attachments, open assignments, tools, everything is there. So different sections are there, you can see here. Different sections are there. But here I don't need these tools. So what I can do, I can simply remove this one. So whatever you don't need, whatever you need, just keep that and remove the other things. You can save as into your rule set, this one. So right now it is an out of the box rule set. Now you can, when you do customization, you can save as into your rule sets. And moreover, you can also save into your class. Wherever you can see extension, you can see extension button is there on the top. That indicates that you can customize it. So Pega is also providing, Pega is also suggesting you can do customization for this section if you want. Now if you run the case once again, now you cannot see the case tools. You can see now case tools is not coming. So that is how we can do customization. Everything is a section here. So this is a section, this is a section, this is a section, everything is a section. Whichever you want to keep that. Whichever you don't need, you can ignore that. So let's say here information tab is not there. You need some other tab for your work. You need some other tab. So we have 4 tabs here. So you want to add one more tab which is specific to your application. So what you can do? You can go to PY case body. Open the left side part. This is the PY case content, and this is also extension. Here they will use layout group only. Everything is section. So whatever the features we have sections, the same features will be applicable. You can see layout group, assignment, information, history, audit. So all are coming here. You can see information, assignment, information, audit. If you want to add one more tab, what you can do? Just add one more layout. It's specific to your requirement, and give some name for that, and configure whatever one you want to display that. Now if you run the case once again, it's still not coming, something wrong. No, sorry, I did inside that one. I need to create it once again. You can see this is coming here. Inside audit is coming. So basically I need outside of the audit. Just add one label for now. This is coming bottom. My case requirement. Again, this is a very long dynamic group. I should go inside this. Okay. Now refresh this. Still going. Why is going inside this one? Now you can see separate tab is coming. My case requirement. So like that I can also customize this and I can add one more tab, or else you can delete existing tabs. So whatever you want to do, you can do something like this. You can customize, you can do customization for the harnesses. Okay. If you want to create a new harness altogether with a new name, so you can do just go to the category wherever you want to create and go to, let's say here I want to create harness is also part of the user interface. Go to harness here, give some name, my harness. So here also you cannot do something on your own definitely. However, you want to present the UI in the same way you need to create. So you need to drag the section only. You cannot do anything extra here. You need to just drag other section only. So you can drag whichever section you have all this information. So wherever you configured this container things, you can just drag that section and then it will be displayed. PY case container. Basically, we don't create PY case containers. Even if you create, you can create some other section and configure the UI there, and you can just embed here. Whatever the section you want to embed, you can embed here. Something like this. And then where do you refer this harness? So you can refer this harness in the assignment shape. You can go to assignment shape. If you want to refer your harness, your own harness, what you can do, you can go to harness, the assignment shape. Let's say in the product info, I want to display assignment harness. Open process. Here in the assignment details, basically you can configure the harness. You can see harness name is perform right now. So by default everything is perform. If I want to display my harness will come there. That's how you can create your own harness and you can refer it in the I mean the harness you can create different harnesses for different screens. But but by the best practice, I mean the entire application should maintain consistency. That is why we use same harness. But if your requirement demands separate look and feel for each screen, you can also create separate look and feel for each screen. That we can do. Okay, that is how you can do customization for the harness. Any doubts here?
Can you tell me one example? Review
Example for what?
Review harness.
Review harness. So I can keep review harness here. Just I will keep review harness in the let's say.
What is the difference between confirm and review harness? See, confirm harness also it would be read only, right? Final confirmation.
Read only, but you can see some messages on the top. In the review harness, you cannot do anything. It won't display anything at all. If you don't have any work, if that is something, let me show you that one. Let me make it. This is a review harness. You will get to know.
Review harness will give you any buttons to the user saying that accept or reject something.
No, nothing. Everything will be in display read only. You cannot do any action. That is called review. That is why we don't. Most of the times we don't call the review harness. Let me create a new case. So everything will be in read only, but you cannot perform any action there. So if you don't want to perform any action, then you can go for review harness. Here you can see this is the review harness. Let me open the review harness. Let's confirm this review harness. Here I cannot display the messages. You can see here messages are not displayed. I mean that is how it's configured. Harness is nothing, just like harness. If you open that, maybe messages are not configured there. We have separate section for messages, right? So messages might not be.
That means entire screen will be open in the read only mode.
And more you can see here, when you click this, you can see you cannot perform any action here. Assignment data is not coming. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Even if you click the assignment name, it's not displaying here because they are not in the review harness. The main aim of, as the name indicates, the review means you cannot perform any action there. That is why the assignment, the case data is not displaying. The assignment data is not displaying here. Okay, when you go for, you can see only 2 tabs are coming. The assignment data is not coming here. Even if I click it, it's not displaying. Okay, that is why. That means that you cannot perform any action here. If you don't want to perform anything, if you just want to see something, you can display review harness. But you cannot perform any assignments on that.
Okay.
That is the only difference. The look and feel wise, everything confirm harness. If you go for confirm harness, you can display, you can do something else. So this is a confirm harness. When I click on this again, it's going for perform harness again. So that is allowing me to do some action. But in the review harness, you cannot do that. You can see assignment shape is assignment tag is coming. This is where I do some action. But in the review harness, if you see here, even if you're clicking this, it's not going to assignment. It's not allowing me to do anything. That is a review. You cannot do anything here. You cannot do any action here. In that case, you can go for a review harness.
One assignment will contain only one harness?
One assignment, yeah, one harness only, obviously.
Okay. But it would contain multiple sections, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Change to that is about harnesses and screen flows.
Subhash, if you go for the tree navigation 7 screen flow, the enable link with the breadcrumb trail and the second option is called only going back. The behavior should be same, right?
Behavior, everything will be same. So then just look and feel is different because it's just like a harness, right? Harness just like a look and feel only. It won't change anything. Every configuration will be same. There also you can jump. There also you can see navigation. Also you can select the that navigation name. So there you want to dictate only sequence execution. You can check this box. Otherwise you can ignore this. Now we'll start with activities. So activities mainly will be useful to do the business logic, and generally we say automating the business logic, automating the process. standard definition Pega will give is, oh, there is no standard definition here. Okay, to automate the process. That is what Pega gives. So generally we use these activities to build some business logic, nothing but to automate the business. But Pega don't recommend using the activities. Again, Pega don't recommend using the activities for 4 reasons. Like that, the maintenance will become difficult. Internally, Java code will be generated, and because of that reason, Pega don't recommend using activities. Still, we cannot avoid activities in certain areas. Pega says we cannot use activities, but still we cannot avoid in certain scenarios. So what are those scenarios where we cannot avoid activities? So in the rest of the places you can avoid activities. So whatever I am saying, in those areas you cannot avoid using activities. First point is, if you want to save the data into DB, so you can use activities. So there is no other way to save the data into database other than activities. So if you create a service for service activities, we need activities only. So we are creating some services like SOAP service, whatever service it is, we need to build the logic. So that it will service rules will support only activities. There is no other rules to support. And agents, if you want to do some backend stuff, if you want to do
Subhash, one question. So the data pages, report definition, okay, these all will be useful only to read the data from the
to get to the database. We use that one.
Oh, can't we do DML?
No, we cannot do DML command. So we cannot do.
Okay.
So that is just for retrieving part. That is why database is nothing, just holding the data. It's not actually even getting the data, just holding the data. When getting is also done by some other rules.
Mm-hmm.
We can use report definitions to get the data from the database, but we cannot save the data there. And then agents for we can services, agents. Yeah, these are the main place. These 3 areas we cannot avoid using activities. For services, it obviously accepts only activities. For agents, if you want to run something in the background to build for that logic, it will accept only agents. So in these 3 scenarios, you cannot avoid using activities. So definitely you should give activities only. And whichever is not possible, along with this is the straightforward things. Along with this, if anything is not possible with some other rules, you can come to activities and you can achieve that. Because activities is easier to use who is coming from Java background. So that is why the tendency here is, people start, because it's easy to use, people will easily, have a tendency to create the more activities. That is why in Pega 6 and Pega 5 versions, you can see more of activities. So from Pega 7 onwards, Pega 7 is giving some guardrail warnings whenever you create the activities. So that is the indication saying that Pega 7 don't recommend using much activities. Wherever possible, we should try to avoid that. In scenarios.
Subhash, one more question I have. DML statements can't be performed using the integration objects?
Integration objects means?
So we have integration, rules are there, right? Integration rules.
Mm-hmm.
So using integration rules, we can connect with the DB and perform the operations whatever we want, right?
There also, even if you want to go for integration, internally you should write the logic. The logic you write in the activities only.
Okay. So integration, they are not performing any, data transformation, mapping logic or something?
Even in the data transform, already we have seen there is no connection to database at all. Data transform is just for once the data is available, you can do some calculations, whatever you want. But saving the data is not possible.
No. What is my question is, if you use data transform or something else, it may generate the SQL query, or else some object methods, some methods should be
No
available.
methods are available anywhere other than activities.
Okay.
Should go for activities only if you want to save the data into database. If you want to update the data also, you need to go for it. When I say save means it's also new records or it may be existing records. You can go for here only.
Okay.
There is no other option. And then without activities, even if you create integration rules, you cannot do anything else. Or even if you call integration rules, you should use activities only.
Oh, again, I have to refer the activities.
Yes. I mean, only for SOAP, some things you can use for getting the data. You can use data pages, but again, if you want to do something DML, you cannot do that.
No, if you go for the SOAP service, I think.
Where do you call SOAP service?
Sorry.
We need to call the SOAP service. We are creating the service. That is fine.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah,
we
we
call
will go for the connector, right?
the
call
connector,
service,
call the connector.
data pages, from the data pages, we can invoke.
Database, what is the purpose of database?
Yeah, to retrieve only. So if you wanted to push it,
we have HTML there, right? So that's what. So at the end, you need to go for activities on.
okay.
Now, if you want to create the activities, it will be in the technical category. So let me go to technical category. So in the activities, we have a lot of methods are there. So for that reason, what I will do is I will give demo on these activities directly by running activities only. We can run the activities directly from the rule itself. So for each method I cannot run the case, so I will create the method and I will show you what is the impact of that one by running from here only. So this is how it looks like activities. When you create the activity, you can see I'm getting the message on top. This is a guardrail warning. So we'll discuss about that later in the course. But anyhow, so it's saying the same thing. The use of activity rules should be limited. The need for activities can be reduced by using data transforms as well as techniques such as case management and engine API and declarative rules. So it's giving some suggestions. So you should not use it. So but definitely in those areas you cannot avoid it. So you can give justification for that. Okay, forget about that one for now. So that is using activities should be limited. That is the point we need to remember. And here you can see different columns are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns are there. The first column is step number. Again, it's the same as data transform step number, just for readability and for tracing purpose. Other than that, there is no use of that step in the logic. It's a label. It's a label is nothing but giving a name for the step. Giving a name for the step. So the logic will use this label rather than this number. If you want to jump, let's say I am writing some logic here. I want to jump from step number 1 to step number 3, let's say. So step number 1 to step number 3, I cannot use step numbers in the logic. So I can use step labels only. You need to give some name for the label step and then write the logic to jump to here. It's just like a naming the step. So label indicates the naming a step. Okay, so how to jump we'll discuss in the later columns. So looping. In the looping, as the name indicates, if you want to loop the page list and if you want to perform the same method, that many number of times of the page list length, you can use looping. So looping will be used along with the page list. When. So this when is called precondition. So here we don't call it when. So this is a precondition. So this is a precondition as the name indicates. Before the method execution, we'll go for, this will be executed. Before this method execution, this precondition will be executed. So if this is true, if the precondition is true, then only the method will be executed. And you can configure that in such a way that. So you can just enable this one. You have a lot of options here. You can see, you can write the when rule. Here you can write the when rule, or else you can also write your expression to accept both. Let's say some ID is if ID equal to something 1, 2, 3. some expression I am writing. So any expression will return either true or false. There is no other values for the expressions, either true or false. So that is why if true, what you want to do, if false, what you want to do. If true, if the expression returns true, what you want to do. If the expression returns false, what you want to do. So but actions are same for true. If true and if false, both options are same. We'll discuss one by one. So continue whence. So as the name indicates, continue whence. This is a whence. I want to continue remaining when rules. So if you have any when rules, this continue whence indicates that continue evaluating other when rules if you have any. That is what continue whence. So here, let's say we have one more condition. After py id, I want to check some other condition, py label, let's say. So here I don't want to take the decision. So if the py id equal to 1, 2, 3, I don't want to take the decision. I want to continue evaluating other when rules. So here it will go for next when rule. When you select continue whence, it will go for here, and when this is true, what you want to do, you can select here. So continue whence indicates continue evaluating other when rules if you have any. If there is no other when rules, if you have only one when rule, okay, so it will stop the execution, it will go for method execution. There is no impact of that one. Skip whence. If it is true, if the evaluation is true, I don't want to execute the remaining condition even if you have. Even if you have when conditions, I don't want to execute that. So this will be useful. So if there are three conditions, let's say the first condition is true, I don't want to check the remaining conditions. So in that case, you can go for this kind of notation. So if the first condition is true, I don't want to check the remaining condition even if you have. So I'm skipping the when rule evaluation. I mean this precondition evaluation, whence condition evaluation, and they're going for method execution. That is called skip whence. Jump to later step. This is where we can use the label. I want to jump to later step. So right now I am configuring this for the first step. So if you don't configure anything in the true param, it will go for next step automatically. That means that it will go for second step automatically. So if you want to jump to one first step, third step, here you need to mention the step label. So this is the, you need to use step label to jump from step number 1 to step number 3. Skip step. If you don't want to execute this method, this step at all. So if you don't want to execute this method at all, if this is true, you can use skip step. Exit iteration will be useful along with the looping. While looping, if you want to check the condition, then if you want to exit the iteration, you can use looping, you can use exit iteration. So based on some kind, if you want to exit the activity, you can use exit activity. When you use exit activity, the following steps won't be executed. When you use exit activity, even if you have other following steps, those things won't be executed. So the same configuration will be available if false. What you want to do false. If it is true, I want to continue whence. If it is false, I want to skip step. That's how you need to configure. If it is true, what you want to do. If it is false, what you want to do. Okay, that is about.
What about true param and false param?
Pardon?
There are two more columns, right? True param and false param.
You can use only for label. For jumping, we should use this one. This true param we should use for the if you want to jump to later step, you can provide the label. Yes.
Label. Okay.
Other than that, we don't use this true param.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is about precondition. So we'll continue the remaining topics tomorrow, remaining columns tomorrow. This method step, and then we'll see the methods.
Shivash, one more question I have. Suppose so if you are running some workflow like a vendor workflow, vendor onboarding workflow. So that case, if you wanted to save the vendor workflow data in some additional database. So whatever the case instance, like whatever it may be. So where we will do the such configuration?
So that we will do in the activities only, that we will get to know once we complete the activities, how to save the data in external tables.
Okay.
Okay, that
Even
we will do.
Databases also will do the same configuration.
Data pages.
Mm-hmm.
Data pages we don't use for saving the data, right?
We have no need to refer any DB tables for data pages.
Yes. So we'll get to know. We'll get to know. I will get once we complete this. So we have OBJ save methods is there to save the data into database, and there we will see how to connect to database from Pega and how to save the data into that one. We will get that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hi Snehal and Shiva, I'm closing the meeting. Please join it. Join the meeting again.